Good evening. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar, and with me is Saira Mujtaba with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi departs for Uzbekistan to participate in Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Centre signs tripartite peace agreement with Assam government and 8 tribal groups. Union Minister for Education Dharmendra Pradhan launches Ram Krishna Mission's Awakening Program for students of classes 1 to 5. CUET UG results to be announced tonight. Prime Minister to release cheetahs brought from Namibia in Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh on Saturday. In Jammu and Kashmir, 5 people killed in an accident at Rajouri district. Prime Minister announces 2 lakh rupees each as ex gratia from PM's National Relief Fund for next of kin of deceased. Roger Federer announces retirement from professional tennis. In Durand Cup football, Bengaluru FC enter the final. And in women's cricket, third and final T20 international between India and England to be played in Bristol tonight. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has left New Delhi this evening to participate in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Samarkand, Uzbekistan. The 22nd summit of the SCO Council of Heads of State will be held tomorrow. On the sidelines of the summit, PM Modi will hold informal talks with several leaders on matters of mutual interest. Russian ambassador to India, Denis Alipov, informed that an informal meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Russian President Vladimir Putin is likely to happen in the next few hours. Deliberations will be held on defense cooperation and military supplies, he added. The two leaders are expected to discuss the international North-South transport corridor, bilateral trade and trade with Central Asian countries, cooperation within the UN and G20, strategic stability and the situation in the Indo-Pacific region. The Prime Minister will also hold bilateral meetings with the President of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev.
SCO summit is expected to cover various topical, regional and international issues including reforms and expansion of the organization, security situation in the region, India's cooperation with countries of the region, ways to strengthen connectivity and boost trade and tourism. The summit will conclude with the signing of the Samarkand Declaration. Numerous other documents are also expected to be ratified during the summit. India, which is currently the chair of the SCO Regional Anti-Terrorism Structure, is keen on boosting counter-terror cooperation with other SCO states. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization currently comprises 8 full-time members. Several like-minded countries have expressed interest in joining the SCO. Iran is expected to be awarded full-fledged member status during tomorrow's summit, while the candidature of Belarus will be formally considered. The summit is important for India as it will assume the rotational presidency of the SCO at the end of the Samarkand summit. Delhi will hold the presidency of the grouping for a year until September 2023. So next year, India will host the SCO summit. Bhupendra Singh, AR News, Delhi.
Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs of France, Ms. Catherine Colonna, today said a shared vision of international relations between India and France makes the partnership strong. She said both countries are equally attached to the rule of law and multilateralism, and both are eager to retain their strategic autonomy. Ms. Colonna, who is on a 2-day visit to India, visited Mumbai today.
A tripartite peace agreement was signed between the Centre, Assam government and 8 tribal groups of Assam in the presence of Union Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi today. The agreement was signed to end decade-old crisis of tribal groups and tea garden workers in Assam. The tribal groups which have signed the agreement include Birsa Commando Force, Adivasi People's Army, All Adivasi National Liberation Army, Adivasi Cobra Military of Assam and Santhal Tiger Force. Terming this as a historic day for the Northeast region, Mr. Shah said the agreement will prove to be another milestone in the direction of making Northeast region extremism-free by 2025.
नरेंद्र मोदी जी के प्रधानमंत्री बनने के बाद उत्तर पूर्व को शांत और विकसित बनाने के लिए कई प्रकार के कार्यक्रम हाथ में लिए गए। इसमें सबसे बड़ा कार्यक्रम उत्तर पूर्व में शांति प्रस्तापित करना है। इसमें आज एक बड़ा मील का पत्थर हम पार कर आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। असम के आदिवासी समूह के लगभग 1100 के आसपास जवान हथियार छोड़कर मेन स्ट्रीम में आ रहे हैं।
The minister said the centre is committed to resolving all border disputes between the northeastern states and all disputes related to the armed groups by 2024. He said NLFT agreement in 2019, Bru-Riang and Bodo Accord in 2020, Karbi Anglong agreement in 2021 and Assam-Meghalaya interstate boundary agreement this year has resolved around 65% of border disputes. Mr. Shah stressed that it is the responsibility of the Government of India and Assam government to fulfill the political, economic and educational aspirations of the tribal groups. He said the agreement also provides for the establishment of a Tribal Welfare and Development Council to ensure speedy and focused development of tea gardens. He said a special development package of 1,000 crore rupees will be provided over a period of 5 years for infrastructure development in villages and areas with tribal population. On the occasion, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said this is an important day as the agreement will provide social justice and political rights to the people who have left the path of violence. He said this agreement will also ensure the welfare of these people as they came into the mainstream.
मेरा मानना है कि इस एग्रीमेंट का जरिए हमारा आदिवासी जनगोष्ठियों का लोगों को सामाजिक न्याय मिलेगा, अर्थनैतिक विकास का एक बहुत बड़ा मौका मिलेगा और साथ साथ में एक पॉलिटिकल जो अधिकार चाहिए, राजनीतिक अधिकार, वो ही उन लोगों को मिलेगा.
Home Minister Amit Shah today chaired a meeting with the Chief Ministers of Assam and Arunachal Pradesh to review the resolution of the interstate boundary dispute. Sources said during the meeting, Mr. Shah urged both the Chief Ministers to resolve the boundary dispute at the earliest to fulfill the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi of a peaceful and prosperous Northeast. The Home Minister assured both the Chief Ministers of maximum possible assistance from the central government in this regard. Union Minister for Tribal Affairs Shri Arjun Munda today briefed the media on scheduling of tribes and livelihood programs at the National Tribal Research Institute, New Delhi. Interacting with media personnel, the minister discussed in detail the steps taken by the government for the welfare of the scheduled tribes.
ये जो मंत्रिमंडल की बैठक हुई, यह ऐतिहासिक कहा जाएगा कि 5 राज्यों के ऐसे प्रस्ताव पर स्वीकृति दी गई और ट्राइबल अफेयर्स मिनिस्ट्री लगातार ऐसे संवैधानिक विषयों पर अध्ययन कराते हुए कार्य कर रहा है, जैसे कि देश के 10.5 करोड़ और 40% भूभागों में रहने वाले जनजाति समुदाय है, उनको वास्तविक तरीके से डेवलपमेंट के साथ साथ उनके संवैधानिक अधिकारों को भी सुरक्षित किया जाए.
Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that India's share of the global dairy market will see significant growth in the years to come. He said this will benefit the small and marginal farmers of India and give them the much-needed supplementary income and contribute to better nutrition for their children. Mr. Goyal was addressing the World Dairy Summit 2022 in Greater Noida today. He asked the International Dairy Federation to direct sustained efforts toward making small dairy farms in developing nations more productive, sustainable, quality-oriented and profitable.
We would like to see more and more engagement amongst nations, and being the world's largest producer of dairy with nearly 1/4 of the world's production coming from India, and potentially given the kind of initiatives that the government has taken, that our cooperative sector is taking, that our farmers are taking, I do believe our global share of production over the years will see a significant rise, which is good both for our small and marginal farmers. It also provides nutrition for their children.
Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh today launched the dashboard of the Department of Science and Technology, or DST, for countrywide monitoring and feedback to ensure effective implementation of projects, schemes, scholarships and fellowships funded by the DST. On the occasion, Mr. Singh said the dashboard contains every single minute detail of over 20,000 crore rupees disbursed by DST to 2,768 agencies in 35 states and union territories in the last 5 years.
Union Minister for Education Dharmendra Pradhan today launched Ramakrishna Mission's Awakening program for students of classes 1 to 5. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Pradhan said the new education policy, NEP 2020, is deeply inspired by the philosophy of Swami Vivekananda. He stated that social transformation is one of the key goals of education and values and wisdom are more important than material wealth. He added that value-based education is important for building a future-ready and socially conscious generation. Mr. Pradhan mentioned that Ramakrishna Mission has a legacy of imparting applied education, and at a time when the government is implementing NEP 2020, it must also lay emphasis on creating such value-based educational programs for classes 9 to 12, in addition to creating programs for classes 1 to 8. Union Minister for Rural Development, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti, has said that the NDA government has accorded extensive focus on accelerated development of the Northeast. She said the central government headed by Prime Minister Modi has given maximum focus to linking the whole country by road, electricity, drinking water, rail and telecom. Citing the statement of Mr. Modi, she said the NDA government is committed for the welfare of villages, the poor, farmers and labourers. On the last leg of a 3-day visit to Mizoram, Ms. Jyoti addressed the media in Aizawl today.
Union Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, Coal and Mines Prahlad Joshi called upon the stakeholders, including industries, to work for a new India. Speaking at the inauguration of the India Manufacturing Show in Bengaluru today, the Union Minister said, "We must work towards making India a developed nation by 2047. He stressed that post-World War II, it was the USA and USSR that determined the world order, and post-COVID, it would be India that would emerge as a strong nation to determine the world order. Post-COVID, India fought the challenges and has today emerged as the 5th largest economy in the world," added the minister. The country that imported the PPE kit is today manufacturing the INS Vikrant aircraft carrier within the country, said Mr. Joshi. The 3-day show has exhibits from 400 exhibitors displaying varied equipment and machines, including in the areas of aerospace and defense, automation, robotics and drones, electrical and electronics. More than 215 crore 98 lakh vaccine doses have been administered under the nationwide vaccination drive so far.
The National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, NCPCR, has revamped the online portal E-Bal Nidan for time-bound redressal of grievances against violation of child rights. The new features include bifurcation of complaints based on the nature of the complaint into their subject matters like juvenile justice, POCSO, labour and education. The BJP has alleged that law and order in Kolkata has completely collapsed. Briefing media in New Delhi today, party spokesperson Syed Zafar Islam said the West Bengal government is trying to suppress the peaceful march against corruption carried out by the BJP workers. He said the country is run by the constitution, not by dictatorship.
जो डेमोक्रेसी की बात करती है ममता बनर्जी पूरे देश में घूम घूम के, लेकिन वहां एक तानाशाही अपनी पराकाष्ठा पे है और जिस बेरहमी से लहूलुहान किया भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं को, जिस तरह से बल का प्रयोग किया, ये देश संविधान से चलता है, तानाशाही से नहीं। डिक्टेटरशिप का उनको हिसाब देना पड़ेगा। जनता वहां देख रही है, जो सुनार बंगला देखना चाहती थी वो लाचार बंगला देख रही है।
You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi departs for Uzbekistan to participate in Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Centre signs tripartite peace agreement with Assam government and 8 tribal groups. Union Minister for Education Dharmendra Pradhan launches Ramakrishna Mission's Awakening program for students of classes 1 to 5. CUET UG results to be announced tonight. Prime Minister to release cheetahs brought from Namibia in Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh on Saturday. In Jammu and Kashmir, 5 people killed in accident at Rajouri district. Prime Minister announces 2 lakh rupees each as ex gratia from PM's National Relief Fund for the next of kin of deceased. Roger Federer announces retirement from professional tennis. In Durand Cup football, Bengaluru FC enter the final. And in women's cricket, third and final T20 international between India and England to be played in Bristol tonight. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter @AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
न्यू इंडिया समाचार, नए भारत का संकल्प, सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास। समाज में गरीब और कमजोर तबकों के लिए सरकार की चल रही कल्याणकारी योजनाओं और कार्यक्रमों से जुड़ी जानकारी पाएं। सरकार के इन कदमों के बारे में जानें और लाभ उठाएं। आकाशवाणी पर अब सुनिए जन कल्याण के सरोकार दोपहर 3 बजे से हर शनिवार। सुनिए न्यू इंडिया समाचार आकाशवाणी के साथ।
Welcome back to the evening news on All India Radio. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will release wild cheetahs in Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh on Saturday under Project Cheetah, which is the world's first intercontinental large wild carnivore translocation project. The introduction of wild cheetahs is part of Mr. Modi's efforts to revitalize and diversify India's wildlife and its habitat. The cheetah was declared extinct from India in 1952. Cheetahs that will be introduced are from Namibia and have been brought under an MOU signed earlier this year. On the same day, the Prime Minister will also participate in the Self-Help Group Sammelan being organized at Karhal, Shivpur in Madhya Pradesh. It will witness the attendance of thousands of women self-help group members and community resource persons that are being promoted under the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihoods Mission. During the program, Mr. Modi will also be inaugurating 4 particularly vulnerable tribal groups killing centers under PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana. The News Services Division of All India Radio will bring to you an AIR exclusive interview with Dr. S.P. Yadav, Head Project Cheetah and Member Secretary, National Tiger Conservation Authority, in a special segment at 9:30 p.m. tonight. The complete interview can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. The faculty and course members of 62nd National Defence College NDC course called on President Draupadi Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan today. Addressing the gathering, the President said that security is a term which is often used in conversations, but it has wide ramifications. Ms. Murmu expressed happiness, saying that the NDC course has over the years lived up to its aim of educating its participants to have a deep understanding of these issues.
Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with a series Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio.
Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke Saath. Reliving the journey of India since independence over the last 75 years with All India Radio. From 15th August, the series is being broadcast on All India Radio, 100.1 FM Gold channel, primetime news bulletins and across all its platforms. Tune in to stay updated with All India Radio.
In today's episode, we will bring you the story of infrastructure development in India.
The infrastructure sector is a key driver for the Indian economy. It includes power, bridges, dams, roads and urban infrastructure development. The major reforms in the Indian infrastructure sector came with the implementation of the 12th Five-Year Plan 2012 to 2017, where the government began to place a significant emphasis on the infrastructure sector by announcing investments to the tune of $1 trillion, with 40% of the funds coming from the private sector. As a part of its policy reforms, The government also allowed 100% foreign direct investment through an automatic route, ensuring minimal interference from governmental entities. In order to boost the growth of the infrastructure sector, the Narendra Modi government has introduced the National Infrastructure Pipeline, NIP, along with other programs like Make in India and the Production-Linked Incentives, PLI scheme. Prime Minister Modi has introduced various initiatives for the infrastructure sector, which include Smart Cities Mission, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Jal Jeevan Mission and Udan scheme. Recent government initiatives like the Gati Shakti National Master Plan, National Infrastructure Pipeline and Asset Monetization Plan pave the way for the country to have a robust infrastructure framework.
PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan के तहत रोड से लेकर रेलवे तक, एविएशन से लेकर के एग्रीकल्चर तक विभिन्न मंत्रालयों को, विभागों को इससे जोड़ा जा रहा है। हर बड़े प्रोजेक्ट को, हर डिपार्टमेंट को सही जानकारी, सटीक जानकारी समय पर मिले, इसके लिए टेक्नोलॉजी प्लेटफॉर्म भी तैयार किया गया है।
Across the nation, world-class infrastructure in the fields of roads, waterways, trains, airports and ports are being built. The goal is to improve interconnectivity between roads, rails, airways and waterways to cut travel time and increase industrial production. The total length of national highways has grown from 21,378 kilometers in 1947 to more than 1.4 lakh kilometers. Union Minister of Roads, Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari says that India now has the second largest road network in the world, with a total length of about 63 lakh kilometers.
India has about 63 lakh kilometers of road network, which is the second largest road network in the world. The road infrastructure plays a critical role in the growth of the Indian economy, as 70% of the goods and nearly 90% of passenger traffic uses the road network to commute. The national highway constitute about 2.2% of the total road network, but carry over 40% of the total road traffic.
India has 13 major ports and 205 notified minor and intermediate ports. 6 new megaports are to be developed under the Sagarmala project. Airport Authority of India manages a total of 137 airports, which includes 103 domestic airports, 24 international airports and 10 customs airports. There are 34 operational international airports in India. After 75 years of independence, India has risen to become Asia's third largest electricity generator. It has increased its ability to produce energy from 1,362 megawatts in 1947 to 3,95,600 megawatts. Infrastructure development is essential for the country to achieve its goal of having a $5 trillion economy by 2025.
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ can be accessed on Twitter at AIR News Alerts, News on AIR official YouTube channel, News on AIR app, Facebook and Instagram handles. So tune in to All India Radio News for Azad Bharat Ki Baat Akashvani ke saath.
The Central Bureau of Communication has announced a bouquet of entertainment and infotainment programs for a whole month on Kartavya Path, a stretch of the central vista from the Rashtrapati Bhavan to India Gate. Classical dance forms like Kathak and Odissi are being performed to provide a diverse and enchanting experience to the audience. Both classical and semi-classical instrumental music performances are also added for the audience visiting the India Gate canopy. The programs are spreading the message of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav through patriotic songs and cultural programs on the freedom movement. The events can be attended free of cost by people of all ages after sunset every day, and the celebration goes on till 8 p.m. The ministry said on weekends the ambience is enhanced with a special cultural fair which reflects India's rich cultural heritage mixed with a flavor of modern improvisations. The Central Bureau of Communication is also organizing special programs to mark important events like the Raktadaan Amrit Mahotsav, which will be observed on the 17th of September. A book titled Ambedkar and Modi, Reformers' Ideas, Performers' Implementation will be released tomorrow in New Delhi. The book illustrates the life, works and achievements of Dr. Ambedkar. It presents a convergence between the ideals of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and New India's development journey. focus has been laid on infrastructure, education, socio-economic mobility, gender equality and self-reliance in the 12 chapters of the book.
The Common University Entrance Test CUET-UG results will be announced around 10 p.m. tonight. This was informed by UGC Chairman Professor M. Jagdish Kumar. The results will be declared by the National Testing Agency. Prime Minister Modi has congratulated João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço on being re-elected as the President of Angola. In a tweet today, the Prime Minister said he looks forward to working closely together for strengthening India-Angola bilateral relations.
In Jammu and Kashmir, 5 people were killed and around 25 others injured today after a bus met with an accident in the Rajouri district of the Jammu division. Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has expressed sorrow over the loss of lives. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also offered his condolences for the loss of lives and announced 2 lakh rupees as ex gratia each from the PM's National Relief Fund for the next of the kin of the deceased. More details about the incident are awaited. Roger Federer, one of the greatest tennis players of all time, has decided to bid farewell to professional tennis after the conclusion of the Lever Cup 2022 next week. Today, in a tweet, the legendary tennis player shared a lengthy note to open up about his retirement plans. He clarified that he would play more tennis in the future, of course, but just not in Grand Slams or on the tour. A tribute to Roger Federer from our sports desk.
Playing more than 1,500 matches over 24 years, the marvel of tennis exponent Federer said, "Tennis has treated me more generously than I ever would have dreamt, and now I must recognize when it is time to end my competitive career." Federer further thanked his wife Mirka, who has stood by his side for every minute. He wrote, "She had warmed me up before finals, watched countless matches even whole over 8 months pregnant, and has endured by goofy side on the road with my team for over 20 years. Roger left an unfulfillable void in the international tennis circuit. Adieu, Roger." Nishit Kumar for AIR News.
In Durand Cup football, Bengaluru FC defeated Hyderabad FC 1-0 this evening in the second semi-final played at Vivekanand Yuva Bharati Kridangan, Kolkata. Now, Bengaluru FC will meet Mumbai City FC in the final on Sunday, the 18th of September, at Vivekanand Yuva Bharati Kridangan in Kolkata. In women's cricket, the third and final 2020 international between India and England will be played today at the County Ground in Bristol. The match will begin at 11 p.m. Indian time.
Now let us have a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature is expected to be 24 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature is expected to be 27 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 31 degrees. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Minimum temperature will be 27 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 36 degrees. Srinagar and Jammu will have mainly clear sky. Muzaffarabad is expected to have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Leh will have a mainly clear sky. Gilgit will have generally cloudy sky. In the south, Hyderabad and Bengaluru will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Thiruvananthapuram will have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. In the northeast, Guwahati, Shillong, Gangtok, Agartala, Itanagar, Imphal, Aizawl and Kohima will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi departs for Uzbekistan to participate in Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Centre signs tripartite peace agreement with Assam government and 8 tribal groups. Union Minister for Education Dharmendra Pradhan launches Ram Krishna Mission's Awakening program for students of classes 1 to 5. CUET-UG results to be announced tonight. Prime Minister to release cheetahs brought from Namibia in Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh on Saturday. In Jammu and Kashmir, 5 people killed in an accident at Rajouri district. Prime Minister announces 2 lakh rupees each as ex gratia from PM's National Relief Fund for next of kin of deceased. Roger Federer announces retirement from professional tennis. In Durand Cup football, Bengaluru FC enter the final And in women's cricket, third and final T20 international between India and England to be played in Bristol tonight. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.